Welcome to Breaking the Chain. I'm Jacob, and today we got a repeating guest, the first repeating guest, Alex from AshenWings.
Hello, hello, Jacob. How are you, my friend?
I am so good. I'm so glad to have you on. Cody ditched us for a Riftbound tournament. You can all boo him in the comments. Wish him good luck in the
Man.
tournament, but boo him for not playing Flesh and Blood.
Oh my gosh. Cody's just enjoying his little Riftbound adventures.
Yeah, he was telling me a little bit, and he seemed like he's pretty confident and excited. So I'm hoping he does really well.
Good, good, good. That seems to be the case, as I've realized that a lot of Flesh and Blood players, if you're good at Flesh and Blood, you tend to be extremely in like the 1% of insanely good players of Riftbound. So kind of cool that translates that well.
Yeah, I remember the first Riftbound tournament and hearing I think it was the runways are I don't know 90% of the top 50 was Flesh and Blood players or something like that. I'm like,
It is crazy. It is crazy.
yeah. But anyways, to get back to Flesh and Blood, the better game.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you start us off? What do you do in Flesh and Blood this week?
Oh gosh. Well, I attended a couple armories. I We did our casual night on Saturday, which was super cool. I don't know if you know, but I've made it kind of a note inside our own local Colorado Discord that we're doing a quote unquote casual night over at a card shop in Denver, trying to get them onboarded with Flesh and Blood. And we actually ran our first on-demand event there. So that was cool. We got a little Silver Age event happening there. I think we're going to try our darndest to, when they're set up with armory kits and gem packs and stuff, that we make it a Sage majority of the armories. So Silver Age, and then maybe once a month it's CC or it's draft or something. But that's been my Saturdays, is kind of just getting a bunch of us folks that like to hang out and vibe. So that's always fun. I went 2-1 on Dromai, or no, I went 1-2 on Dromai that day, which was kind of fun, but definitely not my updated optimized list. I was like, what do I really want to play today? And it ended up being that. What else did I do? I did Monday. I went to an armory for Silver Age as well. And that was, I went 2-1 on Dromai that time. Ended up cashing. So we love to see that. And I just got done with a armory for CC Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday, just yesterday. Ended up playing some Arachne Marionette. That's my current deck of choice for Classic Constructed. I brought Marionette to a CC event. I think it was 16 players or something at Armory last night. And I ended up getting 5th on the deck. I went 2-1. So not too shabby. The deck is kind of insane, but I was happy I was able to go to 2 Silver Age events over the course of my week too. So that was always fun.
That's cool. I heard a bit about the casual nights and all that stuff about the Saturday and everything. I haven't my work. I used to work most Saturdays, so I wasn't able to go to a lot of those casual nights. I know I went to that one where we did the cube, but my work just changed, and I have most Saturdays off now. Or my position changed, so I have most Saturdays off now. So I might be able to start showing up to a few more of those.
There you go. Cool. I mean, it's early in the day too. I mean, 3:30 is when we fire. So if you're I'm just looking to get a quick couple of games in. It's usually I think we had 6 people for the event last time. So I mean, the more the merrier. Certainly, obviously, the more that we get on the books for the store, the more support LSS will be able to send over to them. So that's the plan. I'm just trying to get everybody out there, but I know Saturdays are always it's a rough day to hold an armory, just because a lot of people have plans they were not able to accomplish over the course of their work week, and they need that Saturday for that. But luckily, with the event being Silver Age, you're usually in and out pretty quick, so it's always good.
That's always the cool thing about Silver Age, and it's also mind-blowing because I go down for a Silver Age armory, and I'm I played 4 rounds. It's gotta be 11 at night,
right?
I'm oh, it's 8:30. Like
You have
it's
so
been
much
2 hours
time.
because like I'm so used to like CC, and normally I play on Tuesday, and I play
Mhm.
like the CC Armory. We played 3 rounds, and it was like 10 when we finished. So my brain's like,
Uh-huh.
I played 3 games. It must be 11. Like I must be going to bed right about now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. It's great having them be so much shorter,
Hmm.
and I mean, gives you some more time at night to do some other stuff you need to do. And especially if, I mean, if we have a lot of people showing up, even like 4 rounds is still like a couple hours, but it's a couple rounds of like pretty intense games if you're, since you're already at 20 life, so a lot more thinking involved in a lot of those turns. But it is it's always just a blast to, and I think the TOs also just love it, being able to start an
Oh,
event
I
at
bet.
6:30 and then be done before 9. And they're like, oh cool, we don't have to keep the lights on for another 2 hours while these flesh and blood players finish
Yeah,
up their game.
try and finish. Like I always feel bad when we go like super late because it's like long game. Someone brought a fatigue deck. Like, and you can tell like near the end, it's like they're trying to close up shop around
Hmm.
you, and I'm like, oh man. But it's like Silver It's like I said, like you're done, and they're like not even cleaning up yet. Sometimes they're like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, we close in like 30 minutes. Like I'll start cleaning up here in 5 minutes or 10 minutes. So it's, I don't know, it's cool, and I want to go to more Silver Age armories because I would just want to build like a whole bunch of just random decks.
Uh-huh. It's some spice that can be built. I mean, there's some cards that a lot of people will forget about until you start playing into them. I know I've wanted to make an elixir briar deck because that was making its way through a couple of things for a while, and I was like, oh my god, that sounds so stupid, but like no one's gonna expect the elixir briar deck for Nebula Blade for 7. It's
Yeah,
they would never expect it. So it's always fun. Yeah, absolutely.
and I can't wait. And I guess we could talk about this more in like our main topic of Sage, but I can't wait for them to like downshift a few of those cards, like Raiden getting downshift, Dawnblade responding, and like the other Dory getting downshifted sounds super
Mm-hmm.
cool. I'm not a huge Wizard fan, but Blade's getting downshifted is apparently a cool thing, and no, but I'm excited for a lot of that. Like that sounds super cool too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I anytime they get to introduce something new into the format, I'm always a fan. And I know it's been something a lot of Blitz players have wanted out of Silver Age
Mm.
because those were like their favorite heroes, and they felt like their time playing those heroes was wasted because the Blitz format is not what it used to be, and also is not going to be put in the spotlight anymore. And so, for people to get their favorite heroes back and in a format that's budget conscious
Mm-hmm.
is super good.
Yeah, no, it's exciting. But before we go into the main topic, my week in Flesh and Blood,
Yes, yes.
I went to an armory. I played Hala, which
Oh yeah.
notably is not a guardian. Not a
Right.
guardian
I was
named
like, wait a
Volva
minute.
either. But I was like, I don't know, like after the PQ win I had, I took like a big break, and it like broke whatever like chains were binding me to Valda. Not that I didn't like it, but I like last week I played Bravo, which felt so good, like after
Mhm.
so long. And it was so funny because like people are like, what does Bravo do? And it's like he's such an old hero, and it's like it's really funny to me to think that this hero that's been in the game forever, no one knows what he does.
Yeah.
Or like reading Crippling Crush, like how does no one know what Crippling Crush does? Like that's
Oh my god. I
they're
mean,
like
it is old hero,
discard
like
two random cards, like
right. How many people do you think have seen Showtime?
not enough.
I mean, I'd imagine, right? Like, how many people have seriously sat there and gone, wait a minute, Showtime? Who is this hero? How long has this hero existed?
What a weird card. It just draw.
Uh,
You
right. What
put
does
it in
that
your
do?
hand.
It's like, listen, you'll understand later when I absolutely bash your face in.
You see this Crippling Crush I'm pulling. Next
Mhm.
turn, it's coming towards you. Good luck.
Oh, what a fun deck. I will never forget. I think that's the only time I ever played Bravo in mass. or played against Bravo, I should say, in mass, was when Dromai was legal. I think that is the only time I've ever seen more like actual Bravo at an armory, and now you just don't see it as much.
Well, they printed better Guardians.
They did. They did. They did, in fact, do that.
Victor came out, Valda came. Valda does, like, it's very different. Like, Bravo, I think, still has unique takes, and it still has some things. They're just not nearly as powerful. But Valda does the dominate thing. Like oh, I want to do
does the dominate thing, and it discards it, and you don't even have, and it, like, reduces the cost of your cards.
Not only do I have to keep, I don't have to keep my entire hand to dominate you. I can block some and still dominate you.
Yep.
See, that's the Valda thing. And then there's, like, Victor, who's just the aggressive Guardian. Like, I'm going to do an insane amount. And then you have, who else was I thinking? Oh, yeah, and then you have Jarl, who's, like, the disruptive Guardian. Like, or, like, the value Guardian. So, like, Bravo's in such a weird spot. And now I think, like, he has to be the pitch stack Guardian, which is, like, you just pitch stack, and then you get to late game, like, I'm dominating everything, and hopefully you're at, like, 10 life, because you will lose. Doesn't matter what I have. It all costs 3 or more. It all has dominate. Yeah. Anyways, to Hala. I got the Hala armory deck. And I'm like, this is pretty cool. I've got to play. I haven't played Warrior since the original Kasai in Blitz, before she LL'd in Blitz. Which has been a while. So, put this Hala deck together, and, like, I literally threw the most random cards, not the most random cards, but, like, cards in my deck that just, like, oh, I have, like, 1 Blade Flurry, so, okay, I'll put that in there, and, like, oh, here's 2 Twinning Blades that I have, I'll put those in there, and
just like the scraps. You just chuck everything. It's like, oh, I've only got 1 copy. Whatever, send it in there.
So I'll tell you what, Twinning Blade does not work in Hala. It's not good.
No.
I learned that the hard way. But, like, the main thing I was trying to do is Oath of Steel, because that's, like, my favorite warrior card. And it's just whenever you attack with a weapon, put a +1 counter on it. So I beat this guy named By Allocated.
That guy sucks.
I think I'm undefeated into him. But I'll tell you what, I do not know how to build a warrior deck. But it was fun. It was a really good time.
Good. What was your record entirely? Like
1-2. By Allocated did a lot of heavy lifting there.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. But, like,
it's fun. I mean, I think the deck definitely has a lot of legs. I think it is just one of those situations where right now we're seeing, especially with Hala, we're seeing a lot of it's a new Sharpen's a new thing, and they made a hero entirely based around this new thing, and there's just, like, some part of the puzzle that's slightly missing from the deck to make it, like, the most busted thing. Because, I mean, really, at the end of the day, most of what Hala does is kind of like a pseudo Kodachi lock in a way. Like, it's send a Zenith Blade for 4, send a Zenith Blade for 4. You're good. Like, that's it. Yeah. Like, it, that's pretty cool if you're able to do that with, like, the minimal amount of cards. Sure, she's got, like, a burst turn every now and again if you set it up, but I think really the losing of the counters is what needs to be maximized throughout the course of the game, because you want to make the most use out of your counters. So cards like Rend Flesh is a card that I like a lot from Pen. It's like remove a +1 counter, deal 2 damage to your opponent or something. You have, what's the other one? Olay, which does something too. Like, you were like remove oh
yeah, is that the one where it's like remove a +1 counter, draw a card?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's draw a card. I'd have to look it up. But it's like draw a card or make a flurry token. But it does something to where, like, it makes sure that you're getting the most value out of those +1 tokens without having to worry too much about like anything. Oh, it's both things. You create a flurry token and you draw a card.
Ah,
That's what Olay does. So, but I think that's something that we'll probably see more of as time goes on. Obviously, we're probably not going to see too much of it in Omens, but it is. I think the deck is pretty cool. I think it's got its own unique style of play. I think a lot of people were just expecting these cards to also be very good in other warriors, and like Bolton likes the cards, but like not many of the other ones really care too much for them. So
yeah, I heard Edict of Steel in Bolton is insane. I hear
it's pretty good.
Lumina Ascension copies 4 through 6.
Yep, it's good. It's really good. I do like it. I do think it looks really, really good. I mean, it's just one of those things where small little increments of value for other warriors is awesome. And so anything they can get is always helpful. But I do think that Hala has her identity and she's going to want to stick with this identity. You know, I don't foresee Hala being, a double hatchets build kind of nonsense. Like, she very much so wants to sharpen a sword. That's her whole hero power. So curious if we'll see any other new swords, or if Zenith Blade is like just the weapon that you need to play if you're playing Hala.
I feel like it's gonna be Zenith Blade, especially because it says Hala specialization on it.
Yeah.
I don't feel like they're gonna move away from that. But it was a very like fun and interesting deck, but it plays a very different game style that I'm used to. And and I don't know how to build a warrior deck or play a warrior deck, so I was there were some rough games. They were still fun. I still did a lot of really cool things, but they weren't close.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, breaking those Valda shackles to learn some new stuff it's always a freeing thing. I feel like that's always been my thing with I have a lot of knowledge into the assassin class, for example, but I still really want to dive into some other stuff, which is why I'm usually playing something else half the time. I have brutes and illusionist and runeblade, and I have quite a few class lists that I'm just all right, I've got all the cards for these. Let's just put something together, send it, and see what we do. But I do feel like I found a pretty big home in Assassin, and I was not playing Marionette for the longest time because I was just I don't want to be. It felt really weird and hipstery to say, but I was I don't want to be meta. I like playing A tier, bottom A tier, maybe even mid A tier heroes. And so when Huntsman was such a big thing, I'm just well, Huntsman's never going to be S tier. But Huntsman will definitely be A tier, and we get the results we do. But after playing Marionette a few times, I'm all right, well, I just got to learn how to play aggressive and not play hyper defensive, and I think we get there. And I was able to beat a lot of decks yesterday that I didn't expect I was going to, so not too bad.
Yeah, I mean, Marionette's really strong, and it's cool to have a hero in the class identity that you be very strong. And it's I kind of get that with Victor. Victor's good right now, and maybe I should go back and try him again. But it's but I don't want to be the meta chaser on Victor. So it's I get it to a point, but it's it is cool to be able to sit down and be I'm the deck to beat. I'm the one that everyone's trying to stop.
It helps you learn your opponent too. I think that's the real reason why I switch decks so often is it's not even so much that I want to be learning a meta, being the person who's leading the meta. It's more so I want to learn what my opponent is capable of, and this is the lines that I would see if I were playing the deck, and I'm I think I'm a pretty okay player. So I'm all right, let's play it out, right? Play out the deck, and then I get to think when I'm playing against that hero, what lines are they looking for that I can predict them to have and work around those to better my game plan. So it's an expensive way to say learn your enemy because you have to buy into freaking everything that's meta. But but it's funny because at some point I just decide, oh, you know what, maybe I will play something meta. I think I did this with Gravy Bones one season. I built Gravy Bones, and I was like, Gravy Bones is what I'm bringing to RTNs or PQs or whatever. And I was so confident. I was just putting in testing, putting in work. I mean, I'm talking like maybe like 20 plus Talishar games a day. I was like sending just to make sure I was like learning everything I possibly. Maybe 20 is an exaggeration, but a lot of
You were
Gravy
going and
Bones
doing
games.
every day, like
Yeah,
playing some games.
yeah. But it was a lot. And then literally the day before the PQs, I'm like, I'm sending Huntsman. I don't know what I'm doing. And and then I think I got top 8 or something on
Oh,
it.
is
So
that the one where
I was
you
like,
got like
yeah,
4th place?
yeah. I was just like, oh, cool, sweet. Maybe I should have just never bothered testing with this meta hero in the first place.
See, that's why I always play Valda. If
Mm-hmm.
Valda's ever good, she's good. If she's ever okay, I'm okay at it. If she's ever
Yeah,
bad, I'm at least the best Valda player in the room. Like,
that's right.
but I do think there's a lot of benefit of trying like meta decks and playing a whole bunch of other decks. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where, especially when I was first like really getting into the game, and it's like I wasn't settled on a class yet, and I hadn't really settled on Bravo. I played a bunch of different decks, and I
Mm-hmm.
think it really helped me to learn and understand the game. Like, okay, well, this is like the reach that warriors have with the reactions, and oh, this is the reach that ninjas have when going wide, and brutes
Yep.
have this kind of reach but have this kind of flaw. So then all of a sudden, when I like actually landed on Bravo, although like yeah, again, I'm not the best player, and definitely was not a good player back then. I definitely had like some like ideas of like, okay, well, Dory has reactions. I don't want her to hit this Dawnblade, but I know based off what I've played in Dory, their reach is probably 7 damage right now, so I could block with 2 pieces of armor and a card from hand and feel pretty confident. And I think there's like some really valuable stuff about that. And I think I need to play a few Marionette games just so I can better understand Marionette.
Yeah, I mean that's the benefit of the world we live in is that I say it's an expensive thing because I like paper practice,
Mm.
but you could just go on Talishar and play, literally just jam a couple games and go, wait, hold on, and you take a look at the 4 cards you have in your hand, you go, oh, all right, I think I sequence it like this and then work like this, and like if I block 4 here, do I still get more value by sending 9? Like there's I made a comment yesterday that I think Marionette is still kind of like it's not as smooth brained as most would consider like Syndra, for example. But I think it's an aggressive deck. It's block with the D reacts that you have in your hand, and then attack with the red cards you have in your hand that send far more damage and also disruption. But sometimes it's about sequencing where you're sending a dagger, an attack, and then a dagger, and then pumping that second dagger over the top. Or maybe you're just gonna like try and feint it because they're like, oh, they're only going to use all the pumps on the second dagger when they swing that one because it's stealth. But if it's just dagger pumps, if your opponent's marked already, you just pump everything on your Hunter's Clave. They take like 10. Then it's like, okay, the rest of this turn is you're blocking out the rest of my hand because I could just send whatever disruption at you next. It's sneaky. I think it's a very assassin thing to do. And that's why I like it. That's why I like
think,
assassin.
yeah, and it's like I have played a couple games of Marionette on Talishar, and I definitely think the hardest thing is like the sequencing. It's like, well, do I want to throw the dagger first, or do I want to throw this attack first? And it's like trying to figure out what do I throw first to try and get the opponent to block more, and like or block wrong. Like I want them to block this, and then I'm gonna throw my disruptive card. Or I'm going to throw my disruptive card because I really need to mark them this turn. And if I can get them to block this, I can just hit them for 1 unless they're giving me their entire hand, which I'm also okay with. But it's like the few games I played are like, okay, the sequencing is the tough part because like what's cool about Assassin is like the mind games. Like I am trying to mess with your mind to get the most value. That's like the really cool flavor thing about like Assassin. But it definitely like if I think looking at an assassin's hand will remove a lot of the ceiling assassin has.
Yes.
But no, that's definitely like the cool part. And I think that's where it's like beneficial playing assassin because it's like, oh, okay,
Mhm.
like now that I see their hands and how it works, by seeing they throw this dagger in this way, pitching this card, okay, I can see what they're trying to sequence here. Oh, they have a blue. Well, they probably have like they have one floating. They can do their dagger afterwards, or maybe they have something in the arsenal. I don't know. It's been a minute since I played Assassin, so I don't have great examples, but it is super beneficial.
No, absolutely. I mean, that's kind of the thing. One of the things I first had to learn for Marionette was I was always curious why, if you win the die roll and you go first, why you should flick a dagger immediately, even though your opponent could like block it out. Like, why are you flicking a dagger? And the reason you're flicking the dagger is because if it does hit and it marks them, you end your turn, you flip, but then you have your Mask of Deceit to change you into Orbweaver Spinneret to then get you the Chelicera for your next turn. So that way you can at least present even more damage. Turns out Orbweaver Spinneret, or not Spinneret, Orbweaver, the Arachne form is like the best in the deck because it just says swing this dagger for free or make a dagger and then swing that dagger for free. Like, it's really good. And so sometimes you just like it's quite literally a dice roll, right? You have your insurance on that. You flick your dagger, it hits, you mark your opponent, you flip. If you flip into Orbweaver, you don't need to mask. If you don't flip into Orbweaver, you can just block with your mask, get your Chelicera, and then you're good to go for like the entirety of the game. I think the only time in which that's bad is like if you're playing into Jarl, and then it's just like, okay, I don't really want to give up an equipment piece that early, so I think I just wait to get lucky at that point, or play Weaver Spinneret, which just gets you a Chelicera anyway.
And I mean, in Jarl, he's slow enough that you're gonna at some point flip into it, or just get the
exactly
Weaver Spinneret. But no, it's like definitely really interesting on like Valda because like after playing enough Marionette, and one thing I learned from playing Marionette of how important that flip is, that I was just like, if I'm not throwing something relevant and you've marked me turn like 1, I'm not actually gonna attack you. Like if I can set up anyways, I'm just gonna set up and then not let you block and make everything a little extra awkward.
Yeah, it's definitely weird. A good call. It's an odd one, but I'm definitely hoping to do a bit more practice with it, just because I like Assassin, and they are keeping Dromai from me until 2027, so I have to wait.
Dromai is like the one cool illusionist, and they won't.
I know. I know. I don't know. My heart is hoping that Ziggy is going to be good, but we'll have to see.
I'm hoping Ziggy is cool. I'm hoping that they are a B tier hero at best, but that's the Guardian in me.
That's the I drew a hand of no poppers and seismic creation and I die.
The Guardian in me is like, I hope it's a B tier hero at best. The Flesh and Blood player in me knows that LSS is allergic to printing illusionists that are not broken out of the gate.
Correct.
The one time they did it, they immediately printed a weapon that made it meta viable.
Yeah. They were like, Prism, yeah, you know what? That weapon is bad. Let's get you another one. And now you're actually a deck that can be played. And I was like, oh.
Would you like go again? Would you like go again twice?
Twice? Yeah.
Here you go.
Is 2 enough? Like, that's probably okay. I think you're probably okay to be doing all that.
Yeah. Granted, I actually think the new Prism's kind of cool, too. Like, I think how it interacts is on a much more healthy and unique axis.
Correct. Yes, it is very much so. A much more, I would say, fair deck to a degree, until you realize that you're looped into no end and have no way out of it because you didn't side in frickin'
Midas Touch.
Midas Touch.
Yeah. See, but it's so much harder now with the book banning.
Yeah.
It
is harder.
I was talking to someone the other day. It's like, would you like the Prism matchup more as Valda if she still had her book? Just because, I'm going to draw like 3 cards.
I think Divinity draws 3, right? So like you just get online. I think I'd side that book out if I was playing into Valda.
So the thing I was saying is like, I actually think it would make the matchup worse because I think the Valda matchup into Prism's pretty good. And that's because you
Yeah.
don't play the book until you have the Arclight Sentinel combo.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
But like the thing is, I think Valdo would still be the best Guardian into it because on the Arclight Sentinel combo, I can still block with my hand and kill Arclight Sentinel with a 1 card.
Yeah.
Whereas like a lot of Guardians have to do something weird, or I guess they can throw a hammer, but like it allows me to do stuff and block more and be more efficient than most Guardians are in that combo state.
Makes sense. Well, might not need to worry about that for too long because she's going to be gone soon.
Yeah.
Not Valda, but
No.
Prism.
Yeah, not Valda. Valda's going to be
Valda.
here a real long time. It's so funny when I talk to people at like locals and they're like, my hero LL'd. I'm like, just play the same heroes as me. I've never had a hero LL. Like,
I've never had a hero LL. Are you kidding me? Just play Bravo. You'll be good. You're good forever.
You're good forever. Valda's got a while to go. I mean, I've played Levia too. I played her for a while, and I can tell you what, Levia's not going anywhere.
She is not going anywhere.
Especially now.
Yeah. Yeah, they removed the one weapon that was keeping her kind of okay. And now they're like, no, back to Hexagore for everybody. But hey,
we got a blue
Rockyard
6.
Rodeo.
Yeah.
Rockyard Rodeo. That card says attacks for 6.
It's a blue 6 in Brute for Levia now. It's pretty sick. I actually got Backyard Rodeo just for that. Maybe that's the deck I played this week. But
Slam Levia.
But anyways, we should pull it back into the main topic.
There you go.
And I mean, the main topic, it's not like there's a lot of direction with it, but just generally Sage. I mean, we have the Sage guy on. We have to talk about Sage. And
I love it.
Yeah. And I think it's funny because like out of me and Cody, like I think Sage is fun and cool, but Cody is like the Sage guy on the podcast. I don't know if it comes across that way, but like every time like we're talking about Flesh and Blood recently, he's like, "Oh man, I just wish there was a Sage armory on a day I could play because I just want to play Sage so bad." He's like, "I love Sage," and he talks about
He loves Sage.
He loves
it.
Sage.
I mean, I remember that's what he said. I think I caught y'all on one of your live streams that it was he was talking that he wanted to do my A to Z series but locally and just like play a hero every different armory and try it out and do that. And I think that for anybody, like, I think that's an awesome way to go about doing it because again, the decks are cheap and even if you don't do like the full 58 plus heroes and you do like 10, right? That's still like a decent amount of heroes for you to like learn. And even if it's one of each class, that's helpful to you to get an idea of like what your play style is. Even like, do you like ally based decks? Do you like disruption? Do you like blocking? Do you like more low to the ground aggressive 7 chain links wide decks? Like, what is it a deck that you prefer? And then being able to tweak those. And I feel like there's just a lot of, it's probably something that tickles a lot of Cody's brain is like the deck building availability for, even though a lot of it is like, you know, good numbers go in the deck first and then whatever pet cards you want go in the deck second. But I like my pet cards, so I tend to prioritize them.
That's especially in Sage. I have so many pet cards. I have an Ira deck. It's an Edge of Autumn deck. I love Edge of Autumn and all the stuff that goes with it. I have my Doubling Season Terror. I don't have all the cards, which is funny. Like, I'm missing some commons. But I like the Doubling Season Terra list that I absolutely love. Have I ever won a game with it? Once. But is it the funnest deck I've ever played? Yes. Does my dopamine reach an all-time high when playing it? Yes.
And that's what it's about though. Like it's fun because it allows you to, most people won't do that in CC, right? Most people won't be like, here's my weird jank build of like, you know, I'm trying to like Marionette. That's like all attack actions and no dagger pumps. And like, it's got life of the party in it for some reason. Like nobody's doing that in CC because they're like, this is the competitive format, right? And Silver Age is just like, Yeah, no, I just kind of like dug around my LGS's bulk box and I saw some cards that looked like they kind of worked with the deck, and so I put them in there. And now when I, you know, send God, like a Razor Reflex on my one cost generic in Brute, you're never gonna see that coming, right? Because it's just like you
That's
get to do whatever you want with it.
Yeah, no, and that's the fun part about Sage too. Is it's like also not like crazy high level, so it's like you have a gimmick. You're gonna see your gimmick most likely,
Mm.
and it like even like if you play I'm gonna block most of the time until I draw my gimmick, you could do that, and you
Yeah.
may not win, but you do fun things. Like that's the whole like doubling season Terra deck, and
Mm-hmm.
like I think also like in CC when you have so many majestics and all the legendaries and everyone's so like try hard in a way, it's really hard to just do the fun thing because
Right.
it's not gonna be like everything's so tuned and so precise that it's really hard. While even like a tuned Sage deck, you still have time to do your thing and you might still win. Like I
Right.
won one game with that doubling season deck. It was pretty sick.
And that's all you needed. You
That's
just
all I
needed the
needed.
one.
I hold that on a pedestal. I do have a picture up in my like up on my desktop of that game. The like
Just the Titans. What was it? A doubling season for 32 or something? I can't
it was
remember
the
what it
doubling
was. I think you
season for
showed me.
24
In
in
24.
Sage against uh Icelander. So, you know, that was pretty good.
Pretty good. Not a
Yeah.
whole lot of blocking potential in that one there, so.
Mm-mm. But that's like that was pretty cool and pretty fun. But that's like the big benefit to Sage. Like I think that's so
Yeah.
fun, and the problem I have is just building the decks. Like
Mhm.
it's like it takes more time to build the deck than it does to play like a Sage event sometimes. Just like trying
Yep.
to sort through all my commons and find all my commons. It's like it takes me 3 hours to build this deck just to go play 2 hours of it, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
But like, it's not like it's hard to build the deck. Like I have commons, I just have to cycle through my boxes, and you can actually kind of see them in the background. But
Oh, I see them there.
they're towered, and like they're like to my shoulder.
Yeah,
Of
that looks like
boxes.
very tall. I mean, it's
Yeah.
almost the size of your like countertop over there. Like that's
Yeah. I have
well, to be
of...
fair, if I turn this camera around, it's taller than where the camera is. So like that's how tall, and I have two columns of them. So
Yeah.
it's a lot to go through for sure. But I mean, if you're good about organizing, it's not that bad. I definitely need to downsize. I don't think I should have all of this. I'm quote unquote downsizing because what I'm actually doing is, for those who want to have a cool tip to do for themselves, if you find yourself deck building a lot, is just buy a 480 card binder and then just put playsets of cards in the binder for the class that you want to play. And then you can just go to that class binder and go, this is all done alphabetically or however you end up doing it. And then you can just take them out, put them in sleeves. If there are, I keep them already sleeved. I try to like seal like my sealed inners. I try to do like a sealed inner for every card that I put into those binders. So that way it's already in an inner sleeve. I just need to buy a pack of outer sleeves for them. So
Yeah. No, it is like that's the smart thing to do. You know, like if I was more organized, that would be really cool. Um what set is it? Like up until a certain set, like I'm actually pretty organized. Like all of these are what's organized, all these boxes here. There's a lot more that's more piled up, and I think it's since like bright lights that is not organized. So it's been a while since
that's
I've,
a lot of cards. It's a lot of cards.
That's a lot of
It's
cards.
also quite difficult to organize a lot of them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's a lot of cards since I've organized it. But I mean that's like Welcome to Wraith sit till Bright Lights are like all organized, which is really cool. So like if
it's
I
not
need to
bad.
go to Uprising, I also have an absurd amount of Uprising. But if I needed to go to Uprising, like, I could find those cards real easy. If I
Yep.
needed to go to, like, Welcome to Wraith cards, like, I can find those cards super easily. Outsiders, I can find those easy. And then I'm like, heavy hitters. They're somewhere in this big bulk pile.
Yeah, anytime I think about sorting heavy hitters, I have an anxiety attack. So
Yeah.
do not worry. It is due time.
What scares me is sorting. Like, I do have my compendium sorted, where it's like, but they're just piles. So they're actually talking about it. Here's my compendium, bulk all sorted right here.
Yeah. I've got a card tray of compendium on the floor in my office. That's just all the sorts. What I do, another cool tip is if you have friendly locals that you would trust inside your own home, throw a pizza party and have them all sort your bulk for you. That's the trick, because I will go over to somebody's house and help them sort if it means that I get fed. And it turns out a lot of people will. So, and I just let them pick through the bulk too, because that's the other fun thing is, like, if I already have my play sets, they get to pick through the bulk. And I'm just like, if you're already helping me sort it, I'm not going to charge you for it, because you're already here. Like, take whatever you need. Like, you're good to go.
The coolest thing about having so much bulk is, like, a new player comes in and they're like, oh man, I really want to do this. I don't have these commons. And then I'm like, give me a list. Like, I've had so many new players where I'm like, hey, here's my Discord. Give me a list of all your commons. And they're like, are you sure about that? I'm like, yes, I have too many cards.
Please take them away from
me. I'm
me.
like, I should be paying you to take my cards, right, so don't worry about it. And then every time, like, I bring them back, I'm like, here are your cards. Like, here's a stack of, like, 20 commons and rares. And they're like, can I give you, like, $5? I'm like, you are doing me a favor. I promise you. Take these cards.
That's always my. I'm just like, if you want to really do anything, you can pay for entry for my armory. That's fine. If you really want to, like, absolutely do something for it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but yeah, no, that's the really cool part, and that's why, like, I keep a lot of my bulk, because one, I don't know, it feels weird to, like, toss cards or, like, not keep the product I paid for.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but two, it feels really good when I can just be like, oh, you're a new player, here's a card, take it, I don't care.
Yep.
You don't have to spend the money or waste the time of trying to go on TCG Player or doing all this stuff. I'm like, it's really easy, and I don't like it is cool and fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Always a good deed.
But breaking away from that, going a little deeper into the topic, I wanted to ask you, like, what your thoughts are on the meta, especially after the Pro Tour, because I know we talked, like, in person for a little bit about our thoughts on the meta, especially after the ban and restricted. And I know that at least I had some pretty, like, down thoughts of, like, it's gonna be all KO. There's no reason to play any deck but KO at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the Pro Tour really showed that I was, like, I mean, leading up to the Pro Tour, I think a lot of people realize that's not true. But I think the Pro Tour really showed how, like, wide the Sage meta is. And I wanted to get your opinion on that.
Yeah. I mean, well, even still, before Pro Tour, there was Calling Shanghai, which I had the pleasure of co-casting a restream with Steven from DM Armada, and that was an eye-opening event too, because it really was a lot of people who, you expected a lot of KO in the room, and there were a lot of KO, but a lot of Valda representation, a lot of Ira representation, a lot of just, like, more decks that beat KO, or at least had, like, a pretty decent plan into KO. You had folks who were playing, Florian. You had Kanos. You had Icelanders. Like, there were a bunch of different decks available. And I think a lot of people just kind of learned that KO's consistent, but also can have brute inconsistencies. And it's really, I viewed it a lot like KO was winning because KO was in the hands of players who really knew how to play Flesh and Blood. And if those same players, not that the other players didn't know how to play, but, like, really big professional names in
I
Flesh
mean,
and
like the
Blood.
Michael Hamiltons of the world,
Right.
and
Like people who know and can like it can determine deterministically figure out what their odds are of like hitting a blue or a red in their hand and like what the risks are for each thing. Like those people will take KO very far, and KO still makes it to top eights of things now. But I think we just had the initial scare of when the initial ban and restrictor list came out. There were no more Briar, and it was like anywhere between 3 to 5 KO in a top eight all the time, forever, for every showdown that has happened after that BNR. And so people got a little scared because they're like, why the hell is this happening? But I had a feeling deep down in my soul that it wasn't going to be like that forever, because out of 57 heroes in the meta, you're telling me none of them have like good game into KO? Like that's insane, right? That's like genuinely, like mathematically that doesn't make any sense. And so thinking about all the decks that could beat KO, you just need to outlast the hero, right? It's not really a heavy fatigue game plan for them. So like heroes like Oldhim will do really well. Disruption is also super big. If you're able to rip 2 cards out of your opponent's hand, KO can't really do a whole lot besides swing 8 and then pass. So there is a lot of valuable ways to beat KO, and we saw that pretty much in full swing at Shanghai, and even at the Pro Tour. And I think that what it did is it showcased my personal fear, which I only knew was going to come true because I've played so much Commoner in my life that it was only an inevitability that this would happen. That Ira, statistically, is to become the best deck in the format. Does it win all the time? No. But when you consider its odds into the majority of the heroes, it is very statistically favored. You win more when you go second compared to when you go first. But again, a good player is able to navigate those choices and changes and make decisions on the deck building based on that. We're seeing a lot of changes in heroes that are considered, because we have to remember that a lot of the times when people are going to prep for an event like this, they're prepping into what they expect the majority of the field to be, because that's your odds of you running into a bunch of KO, right? If a third of the room is KO, your odds of running into a KO are probably pretty good. It's probably going to happen more often than not, but KOs will also then pair into KOs. They'll knock each other out of the standings and so on and so forth, until eventually you see day 2 stuff happen, where day 2 it starts getting lower and lower and lower. You're playing against more different heroes. And I think it's just better to have a deck that is more consistent and stable into a majority of them than not, which is why I think Ira is such an awesome pick for if like somebody's going to go to a skirmish, for example, right? I think Ira is super good because Ira just kind of has everything. Kadachi Lock is an insane thing to have, and it can Kadachi Lock better than any other hero that has access to Kadachis. You have the ability to give +1 to your 1-for-4 attack actions, which make them come in for 5, which means your opponent now needs to not block with 1 block card, but now like a block card and a piece of armor. They need to give you more for your attacks, and you don't really have to work for that. You just need to play a card as the second chain link, and that's it. So Ira definitely showing up to be pretty good, but I think the meta's still fairly open. I mean, for God's sakes, y'all just did the whole thing about Ravenous Rabble in Icelander.
Yeah.
What in the world? I still to this day, unless I'm gonna, because I have not like reached out to any of the players who played the build, but like it still blows my mind to be like, yeah, it's just at its worst, it's a block 2. At its semi worst, it's a 2 go again that extends the chain to allow you to then send 8 or 7, or whether it be physical or it be arcane, it extends that chain link to where you're still doing more towards the end of it. And I think that is wild to me, that is the thought, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
nobody in their right mind, well, I would say
No
right mind
sane
is the right way.
person.
Yeah, no sane person genuinely looks at Ravenous Rebel and goes, "Let me put this in a deck where half of it is blues." Like,
Yeah.
you just don't. You do not. You put it in a deck that is like 95% red and like 3 blues or 2 blues, right? And like that's when you run it, because you're going to get the full value of a 0 for 4 with Go Again. But it's like a pseudo combat trick thing for Icelander to use. And if it helps get them to their game plan, then so be it. It's just a shame it blocks for 2. But I mean, people did really well with the deck, and it made a lot of good results. I expect it's not the last time we're going to ever see the build. So
Yeah.
there's always fun things to do. I think, again, it kind of comes down to player skill is like incredibly big. And this is as I've said several times, even over on my channel, like player skill outweighs the cost of any dollar amount that you put into any of your decks, period. Like whether or not you could, if your player skill is so incredibly high, you could take an armory deck right out of the box, go to an armory, and probably do fairly well, even maybe leave with a positive record or winning the event, right? Because you have that knowledge and the skill, you have the patience, the ability to push through your opponent, knowing what you have in your deck. And of course, I think a better player would also choose to play with better cards, but that is where that player skill comes in. And we still see the same thing with Silver Age, but it's with $20 decks now, right? So it's like nobody is capped, or nobody is like barred from being able to play from cost anymore. Now it's how much are you willing to put in as far as time to learn your matchups, learn what the meta looks like, build a deck around said meta, and understand your good matchups, understand your bad matchups, where you can win, where you can't, and growing from there and choosing a deck that will work for you in that meta. And so I think that's what the benefit is now that we see such a wide array of different heroes hitting top tables, even bubbling. It ends up being a huge display of skill. So I'm happy the meta's open, because it shows that so many more people have the ability to bring heroes that you normally would not see there to the top tables just because of their skill alone.
Yeah, and it is interesting because like it was something that like I definitely started to notice after a while. It looked like the exact same names were making top 8 in the Sage events like every single week. Or maybe not like the same names, but they were names we already knew from CC. Like they were already like, oh, those are like 6 players that we already know are good. Like if this was truly a format that was like not skill testing, you would see like maybe one game of, or like one name that we recognize. But
Yeah.
it's like they're all names that we've seen multiple times over and over and over. And it's like super interesting, and like I have so many things that like I thought about in your entire conversation, but I like referencing back to the conversation we had at the very beginning, just talking like our week of Fab, but where I can bring like whatever Sage deck and do super silly things and still do the funny thing, and
Yeah.
it's like Sage, since you don't have just like the efficiency isn't the same, the ceiling isn't the same, it opens up to like that weird deck building where like a Ravenous Rabble that comes in for 2 because you revealed a blue is not as bad as in CC. Like in CC, like every point, like not that every point doesn't matter in Sage, but like in CC everything's so fine tuned that doing that is like really just hurting the like tune of your deck and the consistency, and that's what really can drag you down so much. But it's more about, and but like in Silver Age, like yeah, 4 Go Again is definitely what you want, but it's okay to have two go again because it still plays towards your game plan, and that's what's more
Yeah.
important than it like the actual damage of it. The game plan of I'm throwing multiple attacks, one's going to be an 8 as a finisher, it extends my hand, I'm doing something that's a little awkward for you to try and counter. It's more important than I'm dealing 4 damage, 4 damage, 4 damage, or mathematically my entire deck is divided into 4 value cards, or it's like I'm
Mhm.
throwing dominate like the like Valda and CC. It's like I'm trying to throw dominate as much as I can until I just kill you through it.
Right.
And it's like okay, and Sage like okay, like my more of my like meta game is or like how my deck operates is important than like that overall. I need the value. I need to dominate each turn. So it's very interesting, and I think that's also what allows the room for like more casual decks to show up.
Yeah, big agree. I think it really is just like, again, you'd think about those 2 points of value on a Ravenous Rabble in a CC game, and you're like, oh, dang, backbreaking, right? And it's like, okay, cool. It's a send 2, send 7, pass, and you're just like, okay, my opponent blocked out. They no blocked the Ravenous Rabble because why would you? It's coming in for 2, and it's not an on hit, so it doesn't matter. And then they tried blocking the big thing. If you take 4 points of damage off Ravenous Rabbles because you're like, whatever, it doesn't matter. If your turn is still not as extensive as the opponent's, you're taking chip damage to the point where you're now in the wizard's kill range. Like, you don't want to be there. And so it is very hard to, to think that like in CC, when you have more life, you can be a little bit more loose with it. Right. And you say, oh, yeah, sure, I'll take 2, whatever. I'll heal that off of something. But
My sigil
in
of
Sage,
Solace.
yeah, exactly. I'll play Sigil of Solace like at 1 point of value, and then we're good to go. GG. But in Silver Age, it's like you don't get to really do that, and it's far more backbreaking to get your opponent to like 10 and then be like, okay, cool. Voltic Bolt for 6, block Voltic Bolt for 6. Now you're dead. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
That's a lot. So I do think that there's always the value, and it does allow for like kind of cheeky little things to get through. Although pummels, seeing pummels in so many decks is kind of annoying because it seems to be kind of the go-to, like just push whatever damage you can over, because it also gives disruption. So like, why would you not? Because disruption is just like insanely huge in this format. So
As a Guardian player, I'm gonna ignore that pummel comment and
mm-hmm. Yeah, I figured as much. Don't worry. In my pummel Dromai build, I'll make at some point. We'll see how that goes. But
see how I feel about that.
exactly.
See, the thing is, you're gonna be like, aha, look at this, my 2 for 8 that I could pummel, and then I say I blocked with this 6, and then you're like, ah, this pummel in hand. It does not look as good anymore.
Does not look as good anymore.
I popped my Blossom of Spring for this. And I'm sure it's like different than that. Like you could put like humble or whatever, but like
all I'm saying is if I throw a haymaker at you and you go block with 1 card and I go gotcha, get that pummel. Like nobody's gonna expect pummel. No one's gonna expect pummel in a Dromai deck, and that's the fun part. Is you can just do that. You can just play those cards in there and be like, oh, okay, let's send that. Or you can play like, I don't know, like a million illusionist cards you can put in there that Dromai does not actually run in Sage that you could just like send in, like Spears of Surreality or one of those auras from Dynasty. Like there's just like a bunch of weird stuff that you could put in there. That's the fun part, is you just get to kind of have fun with it.
So like a little sneak peek, like you talk about like weird stuff in Dromai.
Mm-hmm.
I know that. So me and Cody are working. Well, I say me and Cody. Cody's mostly working on a project right now. I have no idea. I don't know like how far along it is really, or like when it's coming out. But it's like a little Sage thing, so that should be fun. But he has a pretty fun Dromai deck list that's going on in it. That, like it's mostly normal, but there's a little bit of spice. But it's like the Sage thing of like, why not throw this in here? It could help, it could hurt. Like it's
Yeah. I mean, I think my favorite card to run, and even when Dromai was legal in CC, it's a card that not a lot of people realize exists, and it's a card called Cadaverous Contraband.
I
What
love
an
that
insane card!
I
It's
love
so
that
good.
card.
It's literally just it's on hit, do a remembrance thing, and I just get to put a dragon that you killed back into my deck, and or a Rake the Embers back into my deck.
I've never thought about that in Dromai.
Pretty good. Like it's pretty good, and it's a popper, and you can pay 2 into it. So if you need an ash outlet, right? You can do that to be able to pitch 2 reds into sending 6 to set you up in case it allows you to be a bit more aggressive with your ash generation, because at the worst case scenario you send 6 and your opponent goes, okay, they block with 2 cards. Now it's like, cool, you block with 2 cards. It's less you're going to send at me and more you're probably going to send at killing dragons. But now I get more ash generation to make like 4 dragons on my turn and then send them. So
speaking of cadaverous contraband.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was actually thinking about that card yesterday and trying to build a deck around that card. Because I'm like, well, you can do some silly... Or no, it's not that card. The card that lets you play a non-attack action as an instant. Riff. Oh, it's so old. Never mind. I realize I'm wrong.
Yeah. Rifting or sifting?
Is it
Rifting?
Whatever that card is.
Rifting. Hold on.
It came out in the same set. I realize I'm thinking of the wrong card, but...
Yeah, Rifting. Yeah, if Rifting hits, you may play your next non-attack action card this turn as though it were an instant.
But talking about
it costs 2, attacks for 6, blocks for 2.
But yeah, thinking about cards that like are super duper weird and like better than I think people think they are. Like that card always pops in my head. I'm like, there's got to be something broken with this card that no one's discovered yet. Like, and part of me wants to do that with like a Verdance like Moonwish Sunkiss deck in like Silver Age, and do something silly where it's like, I'm doing some middling blocking all game, and then like, oh, I'm at low life, let me do my combo, and then just start popping off. And in case you don't know what Moonwish Sunkiss does, what does that? It's like,
it's my favorite thing to do in Kano.
Moonwish. Yeah, Moonwish is the card that's like a 2 for 5 or 1 for 5.
Yep, it's a 2 for 5.
2 for 5, and it says, when this attacks, search your deck for a Sunkiss, put it in your hand.
It's when it hits.
When it hits.
When it hits, search your deck for a card named Sunkiss, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. But you may put a card from your hand on top of your deck rather than pay Moonwish's cost. So you don't need to even pay for it. You can just put a card on top of your deck and send a 0 for 5. That if it hits, you get a Sunkiss. So.
And then Sunkiss says if Moonwish was played this turn,
it
has go again and draw a card.
Yep.
And then it's
and
the
you heal 3.
0 for 3. And it's colored, so you can do 0 for 2 or 0 for... Or it's rainbow, like 0 for 1, draw a card. But the idea is in Verdance, you do something weird where you can play a non-attack action with... And I guess Rifting doesn't help there. But you somehow play that at instant speed. And then you just play... You hit with Moonwish, and then you go Sunkiss, 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 because they're all the rest of your deck. And then you do 1 Arcane all the way down.
Oh my god.
And
just
then
the Moonwish Sunkiss combo, you have to get rid of. There's so many cards you'd have to get rid of.
Yeah.
In the deck. But I mean, I already know that like a local of ours is playing Pummel Verdance, so you could pummel this to send it through, and yeah. Oh, I love it. I love a good Moonwish Sunkiss combo. We were seeing that in Kano in Commoner. That's where we saw the Moonwish Sunkiss is Kano and Commoner, and it was like the wildest thing you'd ever play into, because you're just like, I brought AB3, AB4, and they're like, cool, physical damage, and I'm like, no, not like this, not like this.
And then they have Talishar or something like that.
Yeah,
It's like,
it did not make any sense at all. It was literally the craziest thing. And again, brings it back. Just you get to be a little weird, and sometimes you get to play those like Arcane Rising WTR weird combos. Like I think my favorite thing I always like to do is, and I might, you know what, maybe I'll bring this to a skirmish. This would be fun. Cavdane, the Merchant. Always a fun deck to play because you can pay 3 to essentially ping your opponent and give them a silver, but you have to be at less life than them. So there's a way to like equalize the life, and I just play like slogism into like big things. So it's like +6 to your next card that costs 2 or greater, I think. And so you just send like absolute haymakers at your opponent with these on-hit abilities like Humble and Cadaver's Contraband, and you play Pummels in the deck and the whole thing, and then it's just like this weird generic slop that ends up being like, oh, cool. Is my opponent like significantly higher than me in life? Let's bring them down a tick and give them a silver. And it's like, oh, that's kind of a fun little thing to do.
So one of my favorite Cavdane decks I ever played in like Silver Age, it was Cavdane. And what is that card? Where is it like down for the count or no? It's from Heavy Hitters, and it says if you have less life, armor, and tokens than the opposing hero, this gets plus like 4 and overpower and on hit create, or +2 and overpower and on hit create a vigor, might, and agility token, or something like that. And it was a Cavdane that would play like a middling game and then trigger the hero ability to give you a token, make their life less than you, and then their armor is all stuff that just breaks. It's not like the battle point stuff, so it breaks, and then they go, okay, here's this card that comes at you. Now you're at less life. Okay, I'll take your turn, go to less life. Oh, maybe I'm still the same life as you. I'll sacrifice 1 life, give you another token. Hits you again for overpower. This time it has go again, so I can throw the Thalashar at you. And like they would like kill you through that, and it was the coolest deck.
It's so cool. It's so cool. I mean, it's so funny to think that like cards from so many generics from so many different sets end up having combos that work well with like heroes you would not expect. Like you see down but not out, and you're just like, surely this card is not gonna be like the most insane thing unless you're playing into like, I don't know, a Guardian or a Ninja or something. But like turns out Merchant loves that card. Cavdane loves that card. So good. Give your opponent a token all day. You can draw a card by paying 3 if you want. I'm gonna send like 6 to 8 overpower and try to hit you. So it's great.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool things that you can do in Sage. So to move on to the next topic we have, not that we have a ton of topics, but the next topic about Sage, what are you voting for to bench this season?
Oh, that is a good question. I think I'm pretty confident in who I want to bench, because before I get to my answer here, I guess the real question is when it comes to this voting, a lot of players are going to have to come to the idea of, are you going to do what's best for the overall health of the meta, or are you going to do what's best for yourself, right? For instance, like Oldhim players probably do not want to see Florian around anymore because that's a 0% matchup. They cannot win, like, at all. There are a lot of heroes that do beat Florian, but those heroes are pushed down by other heroes that Oldhim is favored into. So really, what does it come down to, right? What exactly should you be looking for? Another contentious topic that I know is often the case when thinking about the bans, at least the conversations I've had around it with some people, is, Briar, for example, right? Briar got hit with a lot of bans during the BNR, and we got word now that, for one, obviously, Briar did very well in the Pro Tour and did very well in calling Shanghai, even with the bans existing. So Briar is still quite powerful. Is it a lot more technical? Sure. But again, pro players are taking a look at that deck and they're going, this is a super good deck. This is going to be something that's going to win, and it's putting in results. But the thing is that when Chapter 3 Silver Age decks come out, Briar is going to have a precon. And in that precon, I would imagine if they are planning on making it the most powerful version of Briar they can, we will see cards like Burn Up Shock and Lightning Press in that deck. If we see them, based on the information we've gotten from LSS, those cards will then be unbanned for the season to be used not just Briar, but in the new Aurora, in all of the new Lightning heroes. All of them will have access to Lightning Press. And so I think the real question is how bad do we think Lightning is going to be when Omens comes out? Because if that's the case, we should just ban Briar, because then we can make sure that Briar's cards inside the Briar Precon are not legal for that season. Of course, will Briar eventually then be unbenched and then get full access the season after? Sure. But things may shift and change with set 20 to not allow for that kind of thing to happen, and to break down Briar a little bit. We also have to think about the fact that Chain is coming back. Are new cards going to be better, or are there going to even be new bans for Chain to come back that would prevent things like, their absolute dominance in the meta? And I don't know. I think overall, the one thing I do think, that all being said, all this Runeblade hate being said, I do think that I would rather see I don't know. My tie really is between Ira and Kano. And the reason being is because I think that a lot of players are going to be upset that they're not initially going to have the skill ceiling to deal with Kano, period. Blaze is also coming out in the next chapter decks. So we're going to have to deal with another wizard that does things on their opponent's turn, although they have to work a little bit harder for it. I think Kano going and Blaze coming in is a good replacement and is going to at least feel good for Kano players, because based on what I've seen, Kano players want to play Blaze anyway. They don't even really want to play Kano, because Kano is not what Kano was in CC, right? So it's not the same feeling, but Blaze feels good. And so therefore, I think a lot of people are expecting to play Blaze a bit more. But I think that my vote is actually going to be for Ira, only because Ira has such an insanely good matchup spread that she kind of puts down a lot of other heroes that would do very well into this. I think with Ira gone, you probably even start seeing more illusionists pop up. You start seeing more maybe, which is I guess it's kind of the end of the world sometimes, but you start seeing a lot more things change with Ira gone, because there are games where Ira is just insanely good. And also she's the most represented deck in the meta right now. So that being said, is she gonna win every one of her games? No. Again, this comes down to player skill, how they play the deck, so on and so forth. But I do think that Ira is just kind of like the turn brain off, play hero. And if you can send a Kadachi 5, you're gaming, right? That's it. But there are still ways to be thought about that Ira could be worse. Ira could catch some bans. Right? They could ban some cards. But I think overall, playing Commoner for as long as I have, I do not want an Ira meta. I just don't. There's Commoner never, ever, 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 ever did anything to change the way Ira played in the meta. Ira was always top dog, always, all the time. And nothing was ever changed about it. And I think that having Ira not be in the meta is going to be pretty refreshing for a lot of players. At least I think so. So all that to say, Ira is my vote.
You have such like an intellectual conversation about your vote. And you have so much good thought about it. And all I'm thinking over here is like you're talking about like the good of the like for the player, like the selfish choice and the good for the game, and you're like going down this holistic path of what's good for the game. And I'm like, I am hitting that red button, good for the player button so fast. And then you're like, you know, there's just some people that aren't good enough to beat Kano. I'm not good enough to beat Kano. I can't do it. I'm voting Kano. That button's hit.
We are sending that wizard to the Shadow Realm. That guy's getting out of here. And that's what I mean, though, right? Like, I think that is going to be a lot of people's choice. The best part about this all, to say the least, right, is that the devs are going to ban a hero, and then the top 3 heroes that are voted are going to get banned. So it's not like only one hero's leaving, and we have to make a very, very specific choice to save things, right? All of the heroes I talked about could get banned, right? We could see Kano, we could see Ira, we could see KO, and we can see Briar all leave at the same time, and it be the ban, right? But I do foresee a lot of people really, really hating Kano, like really hating Kano, and a Guardian player I could only imagine is absolutely not okay with getting blown up on their opponents on their own turn.
Yeah, I mean, there's like, it just felt so funny that you're like, oh, here's this like this really smart, deep conversation, and I'm like, this is why you're here. You know what you're saying. You can talk. You're so smart. And then I'm over here like, I see 2 buttons. One says not for me, and one says Kano, and I'm hitting Kano.
Well, you know what? I have a pretty big inkling that Kano is certainly going to go, and I think that again, Kano's pretty rough. Like, I think it's definitely hard for a lot of decks because that's also a pretty die roll specific matchup too. Like, if Kano gets to go second, they get to block whatever you're sending, send 6 arcane off the top of their deck, and then start their turn with a full hand and go, how about 8 more? 10? If I draw 2 snapbacks, like, what are we doing here? Like, you're able to send so much damage. So I foresee it, but I try to keep the people in mind whenever I'm thinking about like why, because just as the method of a content creator, I want people to know that like they're valid in their choice because it's a voting system, and you know, it's whatever you hate, right? Is if you don't like playing against Briar, it's fine. But I do think like some form of community effort is kind of necessary because I can't just be like, all right, I don't know, do you really not like RKO? Okay, sure. Maybe your local player is absolutely destroying you on Reviled KO, right? But does that mean that you, the player, should be attempting to vote your one vote that you get to vote out Reviled KO, where there's no meta results, nothing else, and you know that your one vote is not going to actually ban this hero? You should probably maybe making it towards something that's a little bit more meta relevant than that. And I think Kano's a very meta relevant button to push.
Yeah. See, and it's like, I like think about this intellectual conversation of like, oh, I could do this. I think for the health of the format, like, yeah, I think Ira's probably the healthiest thing to take out for the format. But then every time like this, like I hear this conversation on like your podcast you had the other day or any of the other podcasts, they're like, what are you gonna do for the benching? The first thought that comes to my mind is all the games where Kano gets to go first against me in Sage and deals 9 arcane damage. I've had that happen like 4 or 5 times. Like, they're like, I'll go first, 9 arcane damage. I'm like, prevent 3, take 6, we're at equal life. I started the game at 15
Jacob,
as well.
just draw the Oasis respite. Come on, buddy. You don't always have it on your first hand. How could you?
It's crazy. I had like one game where they dealt 9 arcane damage to me on turn 0. I was like, oh, that's pretty rough. Okay.
That's like so backbreaking.
I pitched
so rough.
Yeah, and then I like pitched my reds, drew almost an all red hand again. I had like 1 blue or something like that. I'm like, okay, I'll throw this like boulder drop for 7. They're like, okay, like block 3, defense reaction. Oh, my next arcane spell gets pumped. By the way, here's 6 more arcane damage at you. And I'm like, okay, that's pretty rough. Yeah, I have to accept that. I'm like, so it's 9 to 15 and it's your turn. Oh, well, you're arsenaling. That's fine, I guess. They had the other defense reaction and killed me on my turn. It was like, I dealt 0 damage.
No damage, fully blocked, and they dealt just like a ton of arcane damage to you on your own turn.
I was like,
it's rough.
Baffled. I was like, is this my life? Is this... And this, like, that's the game I think of every time they're like, you get a choice to ban a hero. And I'm like, I'm sorry, the health of the meta. Get him out of here.
Get him out of here. Yeah. I think that's a valid thing though, right? It'd be different if you were like, yeah, you know what? I really just don't like Acilio. So I want to ban Acilio because I don't like them in CC, and for some reason I think they're going to be powerful in Silver Age, even though we have no meta results and nobody registering Acilio in any of these big events. That would be one thing. That's always one thing where I'm just like, all right, maybe think about your decision, right? But I do think that out of my top 5 of heroes I expect to get benched at some point within this next season, possibly is Kano, Briar, Ira, oh god, maybe KO, but probably not after all this. I don't know, Valda might actually get a ban.
I'm so scared.
Valda might catch a ban.
Dominate's not that bad. Dominate's not that.
Well, that's the thing, is I think if Valda goes, Florian also has to go, because Florian, like, Valda is the thing keeping Florian. Well, that's not true.
I don't think that's true.
Because that's not true. Valda currently just does really well into like Ira, KO. It gets over a lot of the defensive stuff from Guardian in general. But I was about to say, well, yeah, Florian has to go because Smack of Reality in Valda is the only thing stopping Florian. I'm like, well, no, wait. If we get more Guardians banned and Brute is no longer as relevant because other heroes can beat them, that means that I can just play Dromai and Enigma, and then I kill all Florians in front of me forever. Because if I play Dromai, I just play Themai, and I'm like, all right, cool. You can't play cards on my turn, so none of your D-reacts work. I'm going to kill you. So there's a lot to think about. There's a lot of rock, paper, scissors happening when it comes to the votes. But I do think that if you're talking about like an oppressive hero, Kano for sure, I could see going, because it's just, you're sending a lot. Like Blaze, you're able to do it, but you have to opt in order for you to determine that, which is kind of like what Kano wishes he could do. But the issue is also like, if Kano doesn't get a ban and Blaze becomes legal, is Aether Spindle in the Blaze armory or in the Blaze pre-constructed deck? And if it is, Aether Spindle would become unbanned, which means that Kano can play Aether Spindle again, and that's a whole other can of worms that I think a lot of people don't want. So
something that's really funny, and like, I know I've talked with Cody about this before, but I remember when all the bans came out and they're like, oh, they're just banning it, like, oh, the Aether Spindle ban doesn't actually hurt Kano, they're just banning it for Blaze. Because obviously you don't want Blaze having that card.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, oh, by the way, if this is in the deck, it's going to get unbanned. And I'm like, so that was actually meant to be a Kano ban? Like, that
was actually for Kano.
Like, oh.
Well, because I mean, what? I think it's not a terrible thing. Do you think about it, right? Ban, most people are bringing AB3. if most people are bringing AB3, Aether Spindle comes in for 6 with the pump from Crucible. So you opt 3, like it at least like opt 3 is a lot in a 40 card deck. You get to be like, okay, cool. Like, is it 3 blues? Do I keep that on top so I can pitch him to Kano, or would I rather see reds in my hand to then mix with the blues instead to like push them down? I mean, opting is a pretty powerful thing. So
Yeah, I mean, I think it
I
was
don't
a
know.
good ban. I just think it was really funny to like realize in the moment, like, because I remember the ban coming out, and I think the consensus from the community, at least from the community I talked to, was like, oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they're just targeting Blaze before Blaze comes out. And I'm
Right.
like, that makes sense. And then it's like, oh, that's not true at all. Like that was actually meant for Kano.
Yeah, it's odd because that's the other thing, right? We also have to just right now we're currently assuming that these cards are going to be in the precons, right? We are assuming that Briar is going to have Burn Up Shock, Lightning Press, right? We're just assuming that. We don't know that it's going to have Burn Up Shock, Lightning Press.
Mm-hmm.
They may have made the deck with the understanding that those 2 cards were on their watch list, and that if they had to ban them, to make sure to not include them in the Briar list, so that way it wasn't like an instant ban kind of hero. So
Could have been the same with like
maybe,
the
yeah,
I totally Aether Spindle. It could be the same where it's
yep,
like, this is gonna be too powerful when Blaze is coming out, but we'll let Kano play with it. And then Kano was strong, and they're like, actually, we should just ban
mm-hmm.
it early. So it could be a similar thing, but I just think that's.
Yeah.
I think that was just an interesting.
I think it's unlikely. I think it's unlikely that they wouldn't be in there, especially since LSS's whole thing for these decks is to make them the most competitive versions of themselves out of the box. And if you're already going to be unbanning cards, if they happen to be within these precons, I imagine it's going to be the strongest versions of the cards that they already have had on the ban list. So I don't know. I mean, it's deal with those things now, and then just wait a season and then get them all out of there after they're able to be benched later on, or don't deal with it and ban the bench the hero that you want to see benched that is going to abuse those cards, and then wait till the set 20 season for them to come back and cause a ruckus there. So
Yeah, I want to say though, when they're like, oh, you could win like a Pro Tour on this like deck, like.
mm-hmm.
We were talking about banning cards from the KO deck because it was an actual worry that the KO Sage deck
Mm-hmm.
would win the Pro Tour. Like, just the deck itself. So it's like, I want to give them credit towards that. Like, I want to give them credit towards, I remember when they first came out, everyone's like, these decks aren't good. No one's ever going to actually place or do anything good on them. And then, we had a whole season where that KO Sage deck was the entire conversation about why they couldn't ban stuff.
Yep.
And that was the biggest worry going into the Pro Tour about that deck as legitimate deck that has a very good chance of winning. So it's like, I think that is cool, and after sitting on it for a long time and letting the heat in my head die down a little bit, it makes sense. And I think it's a good way to approach it, especially to new players. You can win with these decks. You saw KO do real well. Even the Phi deck was really good. It still was doing really good in events, and there's a lot of other decks you could take and do really well with. So that's what's I want to give them credit towards that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are a few of them that are quite good, and they do definitely put out some results there. That is kind of what their purpose was initially, is to make sure that you can take it to a big event and do well with it. We have yet to see one win a showdown or win a thing, but top aiding is winning enough for a new player, right? Again, I do think that, as mentioned earlier, it kind of comes down to player skill. And so it really is sure, the deck itself could be piloted with the correct knowledge to the top 8, but a brand new player probably isn't piloting a thing to the top 8. What I do see, though, even locally, the armory I went to on Monday for Silver Age, I was undefeated until my last round, and I got paired into an Azalea, and a new player on Azalea. And I said, huh, okay. I'm curious what this is all about and how this is working. But this new player was also undefeated. And so I was like, oh, okay, let's play it out. And he beat me. And he proceeds to then say, yeah, this is just the pre-con Azalea deck. And I'm like, okay, so you can at least win an armory with them. Like, that's pretty cool. And that's where I expected them to land for the most part, right?
Yeah.
But I see a lot of people do take them to, showdowns, and they take them to, they'll probably be taking them to skirmishes. They'll be taking them to, other small Silver Age events. And that's where they'll see their success, either getting top 8 or even winning the whole thing. But I do think that having that skill and knowledge of stuff is certainly going to be helpful. And that's what all the time practicing is going to be for, because I think you can win with them, a certain few, but you still have to practice. So
yeah, no, and I definitely think they're most of them. I think the Dory deck's a little weird, but the most of them
the Dory deck is weird.
Are very poised. If you, I mean, I'm sure the Dory deck could still win a skirmish, but I think they're all very poised. If you bring it to a skirmish, could win with it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, skirmish is coming up. It's going to be an interesting kind of layout. I part of me wants to bring Dromai, but I only expect a lot of people are going to bring Ira, and if that's the case, I'm going to cry because that's a pretty bad matchup. But I think a lot of times, especially now that Silver Age is not a tier 4 level event, and it's going to just be like, showdowns and below, I'm kind of just having fun with it now. Like, play whatever you want. Like, I think I've enjoyed Dromai a lot. I might build Enigma to see how Enigma plays out, because Enigma's put in some pretty okay results. And then who knows, right? We'll see how it all plays out. But I'm not worried so much about the skirmish itself, because I think I finally am just like, all right, cool. We can just play for things, and I can worry about winning a lot when I'm doing double ticket prize events at Nats, right? That's the time I can worry about actually doing anything. But here it's just like, I don't know what I'm going to run into. You're probably going to have a bunch of people who are going to a skirmish who don't really play Silver Age, and maybe they just like aren't prepared for that. Or you have a bunch of new players who are like, well, let me just test my skills. I've only been playing for a month, but let me test my skills at a skirmish, and I like the Silver Age format, so let's play that. And that may be who you see. So
I think
it'll be a fun time, though.
Yeah, the other cool thing that I think is fun about the skirmish is like the just spot prizing. For if you show up, you can just win something. Like, you can win the cold foil Bolton, or the just the playmat. Like, that's so cool. Like, imagine being a new player, like, and you walk in, you're like, there's this competitive event, but like, I don't know how I'll do, but I can show up, play, have some fun. And then it's like, oh, since you showed up, here's a cold foil Bolton. Like that's got to be a super
it's
cool
always
experience. Good. And like, it's cool that like you have these lower tier competitive events that aren't like, they're not supposed to be like hyper competitive. They're more, I would say they're a very casual competitive, where it's like you bring a deck and you just have fun, and if you win, sure, you get something cool. But it's like, oh yeah, but like people just get stuff for showing up, which is really cool.
Yeah. Always a plus, especially when you're a new player, right? Because I think that's always the thing, especially out here in Colorado. Not to toot the Colorado horn a little bit more, but anytime I meet up with a new player who's like brand new to the game, they're like, oh, well, like, how is it, how is it like usually at like armories and stuff if I'm going to go to like an armory? And I'm like, well, if you're going to go to an armory, go, because it's awesome, right? And you get a gem pack, and it's all this cool stuff. You get to meet a whole bunch of cool people. But just know that you're going to be up against some people who are really good at this game. And like, you might not win your first armory. You might not win your second armory. You might not even see a win on your record until like your fifth armory. But the more you go, the more you learn, and so it's easier. And I feel like having a room full of players that are like really good at Flesh and Blood help you grow as a player in playing the game anyway.
Mm.
So that's why I also like Silver Age, is because like there is like a slight variance difference in like, you know, you could probably win more of your games in Silver Age than you could in CC because you're already at the less life and it's a lot quicker of a game, so you can get more prep in, more practice. So it's interesting, but I do think that we will see we'll see a lot of casual people show up to skirmish for sure. And I'm sure we'll see some competitive people also. But at the end of the day, it's, you know, there's no PTI on the line. There's no gold foil or anything. It's just something that's, you know, a cold foil that you could win just for showing up, and then one that goes to the winner, and then you could even win a mat. You win a whole Swordmaster Shine mat as a spot prize, which is like super sick. So not a bad time to be a Warrior fan and play skirmish this season. So
yeah, I like my schedule freeing up. I might actually be able to show up to a couple skirmishes, which should be cool. And like the deck I actually right now like to play the most in like Sage is actually Ira. But like I can't be a Valda guy and be the Valda guy if I don't play Valda. So I'm locked in. Like
I think you should be playing Valda. I think Valda's a pretty solid pick.
I think it's a solid pick too.
It's great. It's great. It's gonna be fun. I mean, hey, well, if I see you at some skirmishes, I mean they're this weekend. So
that's true. I should probably sign up. And see if there's any room. It's crazy in Colorado because, like, I swear, if you don't sign up for the event a month before the event happens, you can't get in.
Yeah, it fills. I mean, the one closer to us out here is already filled, but that's just because they're limited on space. I think a lot. I don't know. I think that is probably the only one that is going to actually be filled. I think that's it. I think everything else isn't because, you know, again, there are some people who believe they're above Silver Age and don't need to play it now, especially because they're not in the. It's not a Pro Tour thing, like it's not a Nationals thing. They don't have to worry about testing for it. They're more worried about CC and then draft eventually when Omens drops. So people who are that competitive minded, they'll probably stay there.
I mean, I also get it not being some people's favorite format, which is fine. Like, I think it's fine that, like, I'm sure with over time, there's gonna be a lot of people that like Sage, and they're like, I don't like CC. It's just not as fun as Sage. And I think that's a totally fine thing to have that, like, separation.
Yep, absolutely. It allows for each community to grow individually, and they can be separate, right? Because at the end of the day, I feel like being Silver Age is far more important for onboarding and armory level stuff, and, you know, skirmishes, and just like slightly more, you know, even just doing like a pro quest or a battle hardened or a showdown, just to be like, okay, cool. The most you're gonna get out of Silver Age is a showdown, and that's like still super cool because you can get a gold foil prizing and like you cash prizing and the whole thing, and it's still really awesome. But keeping it at like a more local level, making it a lot more of an onboarding thing, I personally enjoyed at that level more, which is why that's kind of like my key thing, is because I don't get to do too many of these really large events, so I don't put enough practice into Classic Instructed for me to like hyper care about that. But Silver Age, I can be like, cool, this is my hero. I'm playing this hero. I know how to play this hero. Jam it into a few games, hang out with some friends, get some pizza, vibe. And I'd much rather be doing that, you know, currently, because I don't have the time to be like a hyper competitive player. So
that's fair. Well, thank you for joining me. This went, I think, a lot longer than both of us thought. We're at like, which is like, it's good. Like, there's no time limit. I was telling you before we started, like, we just go until we're pretty much done. But we're at like an hour and 40 minutes, which I think
I told you I would yap. I told you. And let me tell you, I love talking Flesh and Blood. I love talking Silver Age. Yeah, I think, what was it? We started the whole pod by talking about Classic Constructed. And I'm just like, that was another like 30 minutes. But but it's just great. You can chat with friends and hang out and vibe, and that's what it's about. So
it is. But I wanted to say thank you. I have a little gift for you when I see you next. I know it's your favorite card.
Haboob!
Haboob.
Is it rainbow foil?
No, I think it's regular. It's in a penny sleeve.
Dude, I kid you not. This is completely off topic of this. It's not off topic. It's on topic. I have yet to physically see a rainbow foil copy of Haboob. Like, period. I've opened maybe 3 cases worth of Compendium of Wraith now. Not a single rainbow foil Haboob. I have not seen them in decks that have run Haboob. I have not seen them on tables of people's bulk that they've left there for somebody else to pick up. I have not seen a single one. So I'm convinced this card doesn't exist. They're not real. Rainbow foil Haboob isn't real. And if it is real, it's got to be going for like $10 on TCG Player right now. There's no way. Because I can't find them. And if it's going for $10, that's a wasted $10. You shouldn't be buying Haboob. But thank you. I look forward to my gift.
So when I like showed you earlier, like the pile of all the like compendium cards, I saw the Haboob and I'm like, oh, this is perfect. I know it's his favorite card. This is his card now. But...
Well, I'll cherish gifts of Haboob. I won't cherish my own openings of Haboob. Those will end up being, oh god, did I throw them away? I had to have already. My 4 ripped up copies of Haboob.
That's why I'm like, I have to give this to him. Like, I was watching your stream and you're just ripping through him. I'm like, I have to. Even if he rips this will be his copy to rip.
Oh my god. I love me some good old damaged cardboard.
I'm not a fan except for Haboob.
Yep, that's it. That's the one that gets. I've never ripped a card, Jacob, until Haboob. I think that is the one card that I've been like, nope, bad.
So that's like a distant rumbling for me. The card that just like they.
Yeah.
I see that
Your
card.
hate for distant rumbling is exactly like mine with Haboob. Exactly.
I'm like, I haven't ripped one yet, but I fear that if I rip one, all of them are gone. They're like, it just starts, and I'm like, okay, well, there's one, and I have like 30 of them, and I'm like, okay, let me just see how many I can rip at once. But yeah.
Make a sick little YouTube video. I ripped 30 distant rumblings in one turn. Ask me how I'm doing.
That's a good TikTok, or like that's good short.
Yeah,
for
just
YouTube.
do a little YouTube short, right?
Boom, content farming right there. The first short from Breaking the Chain is gonna be me ripping all my distant rumblings at once.
30 copies. See how strong you are. That's your strength test, is how many distant rumblings can you rip in one go. It's like if you can get past 15, you've got some strength to you. We'll
see how it goes.
Well, thank you, Jacob, for having me on. It was awesome. I love hanging out with you and chit-chatting, and I know that I look forward to the day we get to do this again as well. So
yep, I will see you around, and I will see, or guess not see, but we'll have another video next week. Have a good one. Bye.